Welcome back everyone, Top 10 Pokemon here, and you know what time it is. It is time for us to review the top, bestest, most greatest Pokemon auctions that had occurred this past week. And the main focus of this week will be Celebrations cards. They are still on top. They are still selling for top dollar, even though this set's been out for several months and there have been thousands upon thousands of cards graded. These cards are still hitting impressive numbers, and I'm going to show you proof of this here very shortly. But before I get started, please give this video a like, and please consider being a subscriber if you are not already. I would truly appreciate it. And once again, if you do any shopping on eBay, use my link below. It would give my channel a small kickback and help me out tremendously, so thank you so much for doing that. So folks, we're going to once again review a variety of Pokemon card product, sealed, graded, raw, vintage, modern, and we're also going to review some of the sales on the very first Pwcc weekly auction. I gotta say right now, it was pretty lackluster. Not that much really came by. A few notable sales on that platform, but we'll get to that here at the end. Let's jump into this video with some Celebrations cards. Starting with this Tapu Lele GX from the Classic Collection. This card sold as a PSA 10 for $157. Then we had the Birthday Pikachu sell for $152.50. And then here we had the Gardevoir EX that sold as a PSA 10 for $227. The full art Pikachu cards here didn't do too bad this week. We got a Flying Pikachu V that sold for $140. The Surfing Pikachu V sold for $130. And then the Surfing Pikachu V Max sold for $177. The full art Gold Mew card continues to be very impressive with its sale prices. Here we had one sell for $375. And we even had an SGC 10 of this card sell for $145, which is not too bad for an SGC label. And the big three are still hitting impressive numbers as well. We had a holographic Venusaur sell for $268, the Blastoise sold for $260, and then the Charizard sold for $455. And a week or two ago, this card was down actually, selling for in the 300s. It bumped up this week to $455. And then the Japanese 25th anniversary Charizard, which was selling for in the 400s a week or two ago, sold this week for $510. And then here we also saw the very first Pikachu V-Union cards. All four cards were graded PSA 10 and sold for a grand total of $495 this week. I am not the biggest fan of cards you have to assemble together, but the Pikachu V-Union card is very cool, and it's interesting to see what all four of these cards had sold for. And lastly, for Celebrations, at least for now, we had the Ultra Premium Collection box still selling for over $200. This week one sold in auction for $232. This box has not been budging. I have been watching this box for weeks, waiting for it to go under $200. It has not. About $230 has been the sweet spot for this box. It hasn't budged in a while, so we will keep an eye on it also. All right, some modern Japanese cards I'd like to go over. Here is a Gengar VMAX and PSA 10, sold this week for $405. We had a Sylveon VMAX Climax card that sold for $202.50, and then the Umbreon VMAX Climax sold for $232. And I also wanted to mention that the CGC 10 Umbreon VMAX Climax here sold for $117.50. Alright, a few EX cards here from the XY era to go over. Here we have a Mega Steelix EX from Steam Siege. Got the PSA 10 and sold for the staggering amount of $76. I wanted to throw that in there because you hardly ever see Steam Siege cards come through. This is one of the heavier hitting cards from this set, sold for about $76. And then we had a bunch of Alakazam cards from Fates Collide. Here is a Mega Alakazam EX in PSA 10 that sold for $177.50. Probably one of my favorite modern Alakazam cards. And then we had this full art Alakazam EX sell for $157. And then this secret rare Alakazam EX sold for $320. A few more English modern cards. Here is a CGC 9 Rayquaza VMAX that sold for $276. The Pikachu VMAX Rainbow Rare card from Vivid Voltage sold as a PSA 10 for $560, but then a BGS 10 version of this card sold for $1,050. We had a Charizard EX from Generation set that sold for $230. A Mega Gyarados EX from Breakpoint set sold for $275, and then a Shining Lugia from the Shining Legends set This is actually a Black Star promo, but it sold as a PSA 10 for $393. From Evolution set, we had the holographic Charizard in PSA 10, still selling for around $2,000. This one here sold for $2,033 this week. And then the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates BGS 10 sold for $1,048. Here is a Zekrom from the black and white base set. This is a full art holo that sold as a PSA 10 for $278. Only one E-Series card came by this week. I haven't been seeing a lot of E-Series cards come through. This is a Gengar holo from Skyridge in PSA 10 that sold for $4,500 this week. And only one card from Fossil set, which was this first edition Kabutops holo, and it sold for $920. Several cards from Gym Challenge sold. Here is a holographic Sabrina in first edition, sold for $380, and another one sold here for $445 US. A first edition holo Brock's Ninetales sold for $425. And then we had this Erica's Venusaur, got the SGC 10, and it sold for $472. But I gotta say, if you try to cross it over to a PSA, the bottom left-hand corner there is not looking too promising. It would probably get a PSA 9 or lower. And then we had one expensive mutt here, this Blaine's Arcanine in PSA 10. First edition holo sold for $1,575, and then the Blaine's Charizard first edition holo sold this week for $3,050. We had quite a few PSA 10 base set unlimited holos come by. Here is a Poliwrath in PSA 10 that sold for $325, and another one sold for $435. Zapdos sold for $511, while a Gyarados sold for $561. The Alakazam sold for $610, the Magneton sold for $677, and the Mewtwo sold for $690 this week. We also saw a Clefairy sell for $810, and the first edition Shadowed Machamp sold for $1,304. And lastly, for our base set unlimited, we had a holographic Venusaur that sold for $1,950. All right, on to some Japanese promos. We had a bunch of the Scream promos come by. Here is a Rowlet PSA 10 Scream promo that sold for $266. The Eevee Scream promo sold for $360. Psyduck sold for $565, and the Pikachu sold for $1,275. And the heaviest hitting Scream promo by far, the Mimikyu promo, sold for $2,772. Here is a 1998 Misty and Pikachu Japanese Bandai card. I haven't really seen this card in auction. It sold for $860 this week. And then we saw this Charizard CD promo. This card has been graded. It's one of the most heavily graded cards of all time, and it still sells as a PSA 10 for around $720. And then we had a Japanese base set Charizard sell this week for $4,850. A few more Japanese cards to go over. Here is a 2001 Japanese Gengar holo first edition, sold for $1,875. And then this Alakazam Masaki promo holographic sold as a PSA 10 for $6,600. On to some sealed product, a great variety this week. Here is an XY Flash Fire booster box that sold for $2,725. A Heart Gold Soul Silver Unleashed booster box sold for $3,827. A sealed Base 2 booster box sold for an even $8,000. While the first edition Team Rocket box sold for $10,800. Here is a raw first edition base set Blastoise holo that sold for $4,117. And looking at this card, I wouldn't say it'd be a PSA 10. It's got some whitening on the edges there, but still over $4,000 for a raw card is very impressive. And then we had a couple of first edition base set Charizards come by. Here is a PSA 7 that sold for $7,652, and then a PSA 7.5 sold for an even $8,000. And just a couple of auctions from the recent Pwcc weekly auction. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it was pretty lackluster, but I did see a couple of notable cards. Let's go over them. Here is a 1995 Japanese Top Sun Blueback Pikachu card that sold for $3,600 as a PSA 10. This 2019 Mewtwo HR competition promo card sold as a PSA 10 for $2,640. Here was a Charizard holo from the Diamond and Pearl set Secret Wonders, sold for $8,100. And then the two biggest hitters from Celebration set, the Metal Pikachu, which sold this week for $6,600, and then the Metal Charizard, which sold for $8,700. I would have thought the metal Pikachu in PSA 10 would have sold for more. I believe the last sale was for over $10,000, so it came down quite a bit for this week at $6,600. So what do y'all think about that? Thank you so much for watching, folks. I love that you tune in each and every week. I love making these videos for you. It's a lot of fun for me, so thank you again for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. That's all I got. I will see you all very soon.